on my other screen, and then you guys.
We are live, gentlemen. For the very first time. I think I have like a 30-second delay on it, though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
30 might be a long time. It might be like an 8-second delay.
Well, I'm gonna see like what it says on the
like
thing.
Twitch's is literally like three to 4.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's. I think you should lower it if you can't. Just like 15.
I think 30
because
seconds was the low. It was the shortest it could be. Yeah.
Okay. Twitch is on some other shit.
Poppin'.
Ballistic Monkey. Who's that?
I think that's
poppin',
Silver's.
everybody.
No, it isn't.
I think it is.
Maybe it is.
Yosh.
Oh yeah. Let me see. It's not. I'm not seeing it on. Trying to pull it up on here.
We are up.
We're up. You can see it.
Yep.
How come
It's
I
running.
can't see it on?
Let's get it.
On mine. Maybe I have to. Hold on one sec.
Maybe your shit bunk.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Can people see us and hear us?
Yeah, they hear us right now.
so,
So we're
yeah.
in.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What's up, everybody?
Oh yeah, we're in here.
All right, well, let's do it. Let's do it then, you guys.
Let's go. All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast. I'm Noxie.
From Kiko.
Eagle.
And Nickums.
And we are back with Tangential Tie-Ins. Obviously, a very special episode today. This is the first time that we've gone live, on YouTube, and we wanted to do this to celebrate 500 subscribers. So big thank you to everyone out there who's followed the project since the beginning, or even people who just showed up and added to that, to that 500 subscriber count. It's kind of crazy to see 500 subs, because it's like when you start a YouTube channel, I mean, obviously the growth is one thing that you're excited to see happen, but it's just it's crazy to see half a thousand of you listening to us. You know what I mean? And
hear what we say. That's why.
Yeah, that's so
crazy.
That's super crazy to think about. For those of you who don't know, kind of a little bit of brief history on Project Manga before we get into the topic. I mean, it really started out as just a group chat on Facebook where we would all meet up and fucking talk about the newest chapters of One Piece, My Hero and whatnot, whatever was out. It's been almost a decade now, I feel like.
We're talking about Akame got killed.
Yeah.
If we think back, the Breaker was still ongoing.
Still going week to week. Fucking.
There's a lot of shit back
all
then.
types of shit. Yeah, and then it went from that group chat to, well, let's make a page, let's make a Facebook page, you know what I mean? And then we make a Facebook page that was really just for memes and aesthetic shit, you know what I'm saying? Fan art and anime, screenshots and shit like that. And then it turned into a closed group. And then one day, we were meeting up, on Zoom back then to just talk about the new chapters that came out. And then we just recorded it, you know what I'm saying? And then we put it on the Project Manga Facebook page. It got a lot of reception, or a lot of good reception, you know what I'm saying? And everyone was like, do a podcast, you know what I'm saying? Review Jump weekly. And we were like, okay. And then we started the fucking show, you know what I'm saying? And
we already do that.
Yeah, and that was 7 months ago, you know what I mean? So it's pretty crazy. So yeah, that's a little bit of a background there for those of you who didn't know in regards to the future of Project Manga. So a couple things that we wanted to do is, one, another giveaway for 500 subs. The last giveaway that we did, we gave away some figures. I think this time I'll go grab some volume 1s of some manga, you know what I mean? And give away those. I don't know which ones they'll be yet, but they'll be good stories regardless. So we'll do a couple of those, and then we're gonna do that inside of our Discord. So I'm pretty sure if you look inside of the description, you'll see a link for our Discord. I'm pretty sure I put that in there. So yeah, join that. And then the way that I did the giveaway last time is I basically just screenshot our members list, which was half of what it was, half of what it is now back then. So I don't know, that was kind of tedious, but I mean, I'll do it again just because I want it to be fair, right? So I'll screenshot all of the members, and then I'll assign a number to each of them, and then I'll run, that total number through a random number generator, however many times for however many books that we're giving away, and then whoever gets them is assigned to that number. So join the Discord for that. And then also one thing that we wanted to do to celebrate 500 subs is people have been asking us, how can we support you guys? We kind of want to see more from you guys and whatnot. So we want to start a Patreon. we've been kind of like talking about like what like extra content on a Patreon would be, but we figured that 500 subs was a big enough following to kind of like justify that. So a couple ideas that we have, that nothing set in stone too. So like if you want to like keep up with us on that, you can hit us up on Discord, you can hit us up Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. But I'm pretty sure what we're gonna do is a second Jump coverage show exclusive to Patreon outside of the 6 books that we cover right now. So and you know, like I think we were talking about having things like you know, the new Guardian of the Witch or Act Age, you know, Marshall. Yeah, you know, like we'll iron it out, but we definitely want to cover more of Jump outside of just our original show, and we feel like that would be a good Patreon exclusive there. And then other things that we had an idea for, and there was like blooper reels and shit. Like I don't know, like I don't know how much the tiers are gonna cost, but like, or how much to even like ask for this kind of stuff. So feedback on that is a pretty good idea. But I mean, like we want,
please and thank you.
yeah, you know what I mean, because like we want to obviously keep the quality of our show as high as possible, you know, and we want to keep our equipment up to date and whatnot. And so like the ways to like kind of like justify, you know, more content and better equipment is to do a little quid pro quo in the form of like Patreon or something like that. So just let us know what you think, you know what I'm saying, any way that you want to hit us up, and we'll get that shaken. But getting into the topic at hand, if you can't see the title, this was something that we reached out to our online communities for, and we were like, all right, check it out, give us the topic for our 500 subscription live stream. And then you know, the replies filled up, and then we were like, okay, well, these are our 4 favorites, because that's like what it allows on like Twitter. So we took our 4 favorites, we put it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and said, which one should we do? And originally you guys chose what won the poll was best OSTs, but like we kind of feel like that should be an offline recording, just because like we want to like kind of like have the OSTs like in the background for those of you who are new here. Like we like have music playing throughout our show. So like if there's if there's ever been a reason to have music in the background of an episode, it's probably should be the best OSTs one. So we asked another, you know, poll, like, should we do best OSTs anyway, or should we do the second runner up? You guys voted for the second runner up, which was overpowered characters done right. So thank you all for your input. Thank you all for your suggestions. But this is a topic that was really interesting to us, and it's basically because it's very easy, and there are a lot of series who like kind of like have like a broken power scaling kind of like situation inside of their world, and there are some that do it really well. And so we kind of want to highlight who we believe to be, you know, really good examples of writing an obscenely strong character. And but we want to interact with you guys. So as we go through the topic, feel free to use the chat here and let us know good examples, bad examples, any kind of question or statement that you have, and we will weave those comments and questions into our discussion so that you guys can be immortalized on this episode with us as participators of this topic. So that's one way that we wanted to kind of give back there. But how are you guys doing, bro? We live, baby.
Hell yeah, let's go. Let's go.
It's crazy,
Fuck yeah,
man.
dude. Fuck
We're
yeah.
not used to doing the live episodes, man. It's weird.
We've
Well,
already
let's see-
got
let's
great
see
energy
right
in the
now.
chat too. Yeah.
Let's see this here right now.
Yeah.
We got Panzu.
Shout out Trey Money. Shout out Eli.
Hey, we
Hell
got
yeah.
so cool.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Brandon
Of course,
Hall's
we'll
here.
Misfit.
Hell
What's
yeah.
up?
Bro, Brandon Hall's here, dude. What's up, you guys? This shit is crazy right now.
And he's already
Yeah.
correct. Crollo OP done right.
Oh yeah,
Shout out
fuck
Dark
yeah,
Reaper.
dude.
What's up?
Fuck yeah,
Hands
Carlos, a
play.
really good example.
Yeah, we got Silvers,
Ballistic Monkey, of
aka
course.
Ballistic Monkey.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that was him. Yeah.
Yeah, you were right. You were
Yeah.
right. I was like, I saw that somewhere. I just can't.
How's
remember.
everybody doing in the chat?
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
We
what's
love
up,
you.
you guys? Yeah,
But yeah.
dude. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's start the conversation off. And I
Yeah.
feel like a good thing to do would be to like kind of like have like an example of, you know, an overpowered character that we feel like might have been handled kind of like poorly, for one way or another, so that there's like some kind of like standard that we hold the rest of our, you know, the rest of our picks like up against or up to. And
Yep.
I feel like one that we can kind of highlight is Goku from Dragon Ball. And now, before everybody leaves the stream, before the Dragon Ball fans leave the stream, what I mean by Goku, I'm not saying that he's a bad character, but I love Goku and I love
Mhm.
Dragon Ball. We just did a Dragon Ball appreciation episode like 2 weeks ago. But I feel like inside of Dragon Ball, the way that they kind of like handled like Saiyans in relation to everyone else, kind of, you know, like obviously everyone's seen the fucking show and read the shit. After like not that long, it seemed like other characters just didn't matter besides
Yep.
like Goku. Like they did like in the narrative, you know what I'm saying? Like you had dramatic like interactions with these characters that you know and love, but on the power side of things, not even Vegeta gets to really shine all that often. It literally always just comes down to Goku, and you don't really get these wins. And I'm not, current and super or anything like that. I'm actually hearing that it's actually quite incredible now. So I'll probably like take a look into that. But from what I remember of Dragon Ball, I just remember being like, I really wish the Z Fighters remained relevant for longer.
Right.
You know?
I mean,
Yeah,
usually
right
the OP
now,
characters are kind of the end all be all, but Goku is like the end all be all and the anytime, the every time, all the time. He's the like he's pretty much everyone else is getting washed and he's coming through and handling shit.
Well, and
JC
even when
said,
you
"Don't
thought-
do
Except for
this,
Vegeta.
Nox."
Vegeta's the only one not getting actually washed, but like Piccolo too. Piccolo does his thing, but
Yeah, like, the characters have
a lot of
amazing
times
moments.
like Krillin.
Yeah,
Krillin is just getting handled.
Krillin's got a good moment or two.
Krillin's got feats.
Like,
But okay, so think about how
And they
the
all got
story's
feats,
supposed
but
to.
like you said, as time goes on, they just fall to the wayside.
Yeah,
Well, think about how we were going towards like Gohan being the successor of the story, right? Like everything led to that since the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, and like it built all that up for Cell, and then it just falls flat, and we're back to Goku needs to save us again. Where you thought like the torch was going to be passed, and it kind of was for a very small period of time, but that's like it,
Toriyama just kind of like backpedaled on that a little bit for whatever
Then
reason.
Great Saiyaman came.
I don't know if that's editorial. I don't know, if that's got Shueisha with his arm behind his back, like no, keep it about Goku. Like I don't know like what it could have been.
Well, maybe the reception, like popularity wise, wasn't good enough for Gohan to justify switching.
I don't know how
the torch, passing the
out of
torch.
the Cell saga, that popularity wasn't there for Gohan because inside of
Right.
the
I swear to God,
he had
bro.
an incredible moment where he really could have fucking killed the game, and he did for a minute. When he came back as Mystic Gohan and washed Boo for like 2 episodes just to fucking get sneak attack absorbed and shit again. And it's like, why did you do that? Like that's my guy, bro.
Got his ass sneak attack absorbed.
But Goku, I mean, objectively, is kind of a boring character, right? Like he doesn't have very much depth. He's just getting stronger for the sake of getting stronger. Sure, he's like protecting his family and his planet and stuff like that. But like, he's not, a deep character with a lot of, There's like no conflict like within him or anything. He's just, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to do.
Always going to be this kind of guy, and there's
he's just kind of a static character.
Yeah,
pretty
and
much.
that's not necessarily like a bad thing. But when you have a series that is kind of like the staple example of the new threat shows up every arc stronger than the last one, then like that's obviously where this kind of situation is going to go. Especially when you've already decided that. The rest of your supporting cast is going to be irrelevant pretty much since the end of the Saiyan saga. You know what I mean? It's like, now it's just like, okay, everyone gets whooped until Goku shows up. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, hey, it's a legendary series regardless, but I just felt like that was a good example of, an overpowered character that's handled poorly because we don't see as much of other characters that we've come to love back when the series wasn't broken anymore. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's one thing that you should try not
I think
to
another good like example of like how Goku is not necessarily done right is that he's like, you could say he's like kind of campy, like say Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. Now I've only seen the anime of that, but like that's a campy show. And camp is not bad. Camp is fun. And like say Dragon Ball Super, it's fun. It is a pleasure to watch, a pleasure to read, but it isn't like in-depth, intricate,
super high stakes.
It's not high stakes. It's just we're just watching a guy go and you explode, and it's fun. It's fun to watch. And Kenshiro does grow over time. But what we're talking about here for done right is and you just like you explode. But the rest of the characters I think we're going to talk about are like done right, written well. And we can go into like more in depth into like the metrics for a good character as we're talking about them or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and as long as we were kind of talking about that aspect of Goku where he just wants to fight powerful enemies no matter what. That's something I turned out to not like about him so much, and thought something that I thought was kind of done poorly was like going into Super, like Nick said, this man like literally instigated a whole ass tournament that was set up to wipe away entire universes just so that he can fight strong enemies.
It's like, what are
And
you
it's like,
doing?
man, like you gotta chill, bro. And the tournament would have never happened if Goku didn't like instigate it. Like he really was behind that shit, and kind of, you know, he had an in with Zeno, obviously.
Yeah.
And he was like really kind of nudging him, like, yo, let's get this tournament cracking, son. What's up?
Yeah.
Well, I think another thing too is just how strength is like measured, and maybe this is more of an indictment on the writing than anything, because it kind of works with all characters, but just the fact that the only way, okay, power level was good, and I really liked power level at first, and then obviously it's thrown to the wayside eventually, but just the fact that after power level, it's just, okay, this villain is stronger than us, so that's the only way we're going to measure strength now, is this guy's stronger than us, and then somebody has to beat him, and then okay, now he's stronger than that guy. But it's all just like relative to like the villain at the time, and it's never there's nothing else to it, you know, like it's not a, you know, like a Hunter or Jujutsu Kaisen where it's like there's a lot of depth to the abilities, and like, you know,
there's a standard and a model to reference back to that like gives you like things that you can, as yourself as the reader, can like make inferences of before the story tells you. Like you can have an idea of how something is going to go because that model is so established and so strict, right? And I want to address JC here, because JC says Goku as an OP, and I know you're saying that because Goku I know you're saying that because Goku loses. That it's, you're not overpowered just because you never lose. You know what I mean? And if I'm wrong, correct me. But like, just because Goku loses doesn't mean he's not the only character that ever ends any kind of conflict. You know what I mean? Like all the major serious world and universe like ending threats come down to Goku, because that's the character that's meant to do that in his story, and that's fine. But like that is kind of like why I consider Goku to be overpowered, because pretty much everyone else is like kind of like irrelevant. You know what I mean? For the most part. Right. You know what I mean? So like I think like my reasoning there for Goku.
Yeah. Going into current Super, and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who's like reading Super actively, but like current Super, like there's theories out right now that like maybe Vegeta is finally going to be relevant in the story. And just the fact that there is that theory, I think proves our point. You know what I mean? That like Goku is always the guy. Yeah. And if there's like theories of like I'm wanting it too, but like, oh yes, Vegeta can do it this time. Like that means that he's overpowered, and you know it's not necessarily what we're looking for, what I'm looking for in a great story.
Right.
So let's get into some great ones.
Yeah, let's get into some great ones. I kind of want to address the chat because it's kind of like filling up with like ideas.
I'm loving these examples. Thank you in the chat.
So Ballistic Monkey 999, the guy Silver says Guts from Berserk is a really good example, and honestly,
love it.
I think it is, because it's like when I'm going through like Berserk, I'm like, this is just a guy with a big iron slab,
tanky,
going crazy on like, you know, like in the Black Swordsman arc, it's like the things that he was fighting in the Black Swordsman arc, that big like snake like centipede dude, like at the end of Black Swordsman, like I was like, what is he gonna do about this? Like he's just a dude, like with a sword, and like he had you know, like, and you know, it's just crazy seeing. And I'll let you kind of like get in your bag here too, Nick. But like, it's just cool how it's not completely unbelievable what Guts is doing, even though he should seem vastly underpowered than the enemies that he faces throughout the series, and he always comes out and it's written so believably the way that he does it. You know what I mean? So this is a great example.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like Guts, he's obviously overpowered relative to a regular human. This sword that he's been using since he's been a toddler, you know, always bigger than him. That's why, quote unquote, he can use these big swords. But you know, as the plot is progressing, he's overpowered in the sense that he's way stronger than anyone else, and he can go toe to toe with these apostles. But he's written well in the fact that like he has to lean on the crutch of the Berserker armor, which is like killing or, you know, injuring him tremendously, and it's taking away his reason. It's making him turn against his friends. Right. Like the plot is not about Guts fighting things. Yeah. It's not about Guts and his strength. The plot of Berserk, as Berserk fans know, it's about struggling. It's about persevering over crazy odds. Yeah. Persevering over literal gods. You know, Griffith and the God Hand being literal evil gods in this universe. Like, so that's a scenario where this is a really well-written character. Yeah. He's very OP, but he's not OP in the sense of like, oh, of course Guts is going to win.
Right.
We don't know Guts is going to win.
There in the story and his character to where you care more about things more than just his strength, and there's enough caveats set in place in his struggles to where you are still worried for him, even though you know he's going to win. You know what I mean? Because obviously you're not going to kill the main character and stop the story just because he encountered a villain that's going to beat the shit out of him or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to advance the plot by pulling through in these situations. But Miura really does a good job of keeping the stakes there despite that. Yeah.
Kurosaki Chris in the chat just mentioned the 100-man fight with Guts.
Dude, that shit was hectic.
And that's just a great example of like a guy killing 100 men, and it's like an instant legend. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, or like Isidro. You know what I mean? Like the little guy who wants to be Guts's like kind of apprentice. He's like, oh yeah, I've have you heard about this 100-man slayer, this legendary captain? And Guts is like, not trying to play it cooler. He's like, yeah, I guess I've heard of him. He's not saying, oh, that's me. Yeah, I love that. Great example,
dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay, so real quick before we start with ours, Sinbad from M.A.N.G.A. Great example. Great example. I don't know, Kiko, if you kind of want to like go into Sinbad and your thoughts on Sinbad, but I feel like that's a great pick too. That was coming from
Kaiser Cole.
Oh, that was
he also brought up Aizen and Alucard.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Brandon in the chat. He said Itachi, which I think is a good one.
I agree with Itachi. See, Alucard is weird because he don't die no matter what. So like I always kind of have a tough time with that. But I mean, hey, Sinbad, that was the first one. Let's start with Sinbad here.
Yeah, dude.
In the story of in the M.A.N.G.A. portion of it, he doesn't get that much time to be OP, which I think is always great. Like if you have OP characters, they can't save the day every time. They can't be in every conflict.
Use them in moderation.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And he has the Black Rook kind of taking over him. He's got the depravity or whatever that's kind of fighting his good side or whatever. He has that's what they call it, the depravity taking him over. Yeah, I mean they call it depravity on it, but yeah. So that's really good. Another thing about him that was really good too is that he's so OP that the story tells you he's OP and that we're not really supposed to fuck with him, and they canceled him from getting any more power. The 7th Jin is like, no, 7, you're done. You can't have no more. We're tired of you conquering dungeons. Sit your ass down. Go back to your island. 7 is enough.
The story is self-aware of the OP-ness, and that's always great when they address when the story addresses like, hey, we know this motherfucker is too much, but don't you love him anyway? Like here he is, real quick. Let's check him out.
Take your ass back to the
let's get him out of here.
Chill there, bro.
Yeah.
Well, we have even fights here. Like, just go your ass back to your island. Shut up.
and that's a good segue into like the first like one that we kind of like as a team want to highlight. Inside of Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins, right? Because in Nanatsu no Taizai's manga, I think even before the first season ever came out, way before he's here in the main story, he's introduced in a side story in The Vampires of Edinburgh. And that was one of the best character introductions that I think I've ever read about. Top 5 at least.
So
you know
good.
What I'm saying?
So good.
Like that shit was crazy week to week. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we were, so like M.A.N.G.A was peppering in those side story chapters like every other week. In between like the main in between the main story, in between the Holy Knight saga and the Ten Commandments saga, and like Meliodas had just got Lostbane back and shit, and I'm like, I don't care, give me the vampires back. I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, Escanor is here, bro, and I know if you're getting him in a side story that we're probably not going to see him for some time in the main story, but what I was talking about with the story is like self-awareness of how OP its characters are. Is that M.A.N.G.A had like an author's note after the end of the side story where he was like, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed Escanor, but like, I don't know how I'm going to use him in the main story. He's way too strong. I'm like stressing out about how I'm going to use this character.
But he did a good job. He did a great job.
Yeah, and he did incredibly. And one way that I feel like your main character or your overpowered character can shine, it's all about like introducing like concepts and dynamics outside of just their strength that makes it okay that they're as strong as they are. And Escanor's dialogue, fam,
the pride.
I was just fuck how strong this man is, bro. Just say words, bro. Like literally just say words and you can come evaporate anybody. I don't give a fuck about the stakes. Just be the character you are.
You're talking about Escanor when he's in his swole form.
That's right.
But he has a completely different personality and dialogue when he's in his, skinny boy like me form.
And his pride scales with his strength, which is so fucking sick. He goes from like depressed, borderline suicidal, to I'm the tightest thing that ever existed.
What nothing is better than me.
That's what's done right with him. Like that's a whole different take on like an OP character. I feel like I don't know how often I think I've ever seen a character that's like the weakest character in the story, then the strongest character in the story, dictated by time and where the sun is at the fucking, or just sunshine whatever.
That's a tight ass concept.
One of the tightest abilities I think I've ever read about.
The fact his ability is only useful like peak noon. You know what I mean? Yes. That is a great limiter caveat. On how a cap on how good his ability is, and it's a great ability, and it's used many times for many big bosses or whatever. Yeah. But it's not like constantly OP, which I think very much helps be done right.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Ryan Shin. Escanor.
Let's see. Is anybody
Let's take a look at
Let's take a look at
Well, yeah. First thing. Hey, Kaizoku wants me to explain M.A.N.G.A again.
No. Let's chill back with that.
That's why I started cracking up in the middle of nowhere.
Shout out to Kyle in the chat too. We is live, baby.
Yeah, what's up, Kyle?
Fuck yeah, Kyle Studer, what's up?
Yeah, dude.
Mark Weeks, what's up? What's popping?
So let's see.
A lot of the people.
I mean, a lot of our main picks have already gotten brought up in the chat.
Yeah,
here,
sure.
I love it.
Seung Wuhan, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll bring up Goo Moon-ryong for sure.
Oh yeah.
Goo Moon-ryong. Let's see. I can't see. Oh yeah, we already addressed Itachi. We already addressed Alucard. Okay, well let's move into Meruem then.
I mean, we mentioned that they were brought up. We didn't talk about them, but we can talk about it later for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But like, let's move into Meruem, right? Because like this, I don't know.
My boy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, actually, Nickums, do you want to start the Meruem conversation?
Can I just gush?
Yeah,
for like
dude,
like
crazy,
some minutes
bro.
or whatever. Yes. So okay, Meruem, Chimera Ant King. We all know him. We all love him. Whatever.
Yeah, bro.
So I'm just gonna fire off some things that I think make him he is personally my favorite villain of any series of all time.
That's right.
Bar none.
Very good pick.
Fuck yeah.
We're allowed to like say spoilers with this, right? I mean, it's old shit.
Cover your ears. Here's your warning.
Spoiler alert. If we're about to talk about Meruem and the Chimera.
If you don't want to hear about it, like cover your ears, and I'll do an X when I'm done spoilering. But so let's see here. Later, like let's skip ahead a bit, right? He actually fights against the part of himself that is OP. The Chimera Ant aspect of himself. His human side and his ant side are like in conflict, and he doesn't know like, should I be like really awful or should I be kind of reasonable? You know what I mean? Boom. Point one. Hell great part of why he's a great character.
Yeah, dude.
His plot is not about fighting. His plot is about a newborn infant ant king. He's only 40 days old when he dies.
Yeah.
He's about him learning about the world, learning about himself, learning about strategy.
Yeah.
Exploring.
When I'm reading the manga for the first time, and you have the punitive force like on the human side of things, like talking about their plan, and I'm like, okay, they're cooking up something kind of good for this guy. Mm-hmm. And then you turn the page and it's just him in a library reading books. I was like, oh no. I was like, don't give this man a library, bro. I was like, what are they gonna fucking do? Like that shit was fucking butt clench city. But yeah,
and
sorry.
Of course,
go ahead.
also, interject whatever you want. Yeah, Eagle, what do you got?
That was something I thought was really tight. Was like the whole thing was like a culmination, right? Like it was generations of chimera ants that were being born, and then this one
leading up to
I believe it was eventually stated that it was planted. The queen was like planted there by what the fuck is his name? Netaro's son.
Beyond?
Oh, Beyond.
It was kind of insinuated that he was the one that kind of maybe sent. I don't know. Maybe I'm bugging out, but
I don't recall that at all.
I do not remember that. Hey, someone help us out.
I like the headcanon.
That's tight though.
But
the culmination, the
once it was the human element that was introduced, is where shit really kind of took a left.
Yeah.
And then like you said, it was like a lot of the thing going through the arc was him battling with that human side of himself.
Right.
Kind of trying to decide like, man, do I want to just like savage all these motherfuckers or should I just, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck am I going to do? But in the end, how much do you think he like understood the human element of himself?
Entirely.
I think quite a lot.
Entirely, and do you
he was
think
the most human by the end of the arc? He was the most human character in the fucking
when
show.
When he drops the quote, one of my favorite quotes from a villain, when he says, "I will make a world so fair that the entire existence of the word inequality will be stripped from our language." You know what I mean? When he said that, I'm like, I'm Team Meruem. I'm full on. But like that's a human side of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when he was like fighting Netero, so to get back to what I was saying a little bit, like when his arc is not about fighting. But we still get the fight. We still get the fucking awesome fight with Netero.
A whole episode dedicated to it was so good to see in the adaptation, because in the manga it's going like back and forth, right? But but in the anime they were like, nope, here's the whole thing. One episode. Nice. It doesn't go anywhere else. Start to finish. I was like, fuck.
So we still get the fight. It's a phenomenal fight. And he loses the fight, which I also love in an overpowered character. Like he does not win the fight, but he kind of does. He wins the fight, loses the war, kind of thing.
Definitely.
He, again, this is spoiler territory. He survives a fucking nuke, which is fucking sick as hell, super overpowered, but he doesn't survive like the poison aspect of the nuke, which is like
yes.
I love
that was the coolest thing to me, and a lot of people feel like that was like kind of underwhelming, and I feel like most people who think that are just like expecting a final Getsuga Tensho or a father-son Kamehameha wave to like end the arc, you know what I'm saying? And it's like and it's like, hey, if that's your thing, like cool, but it's like if you've been paying attention to this series and you can see that like Togashi specifically goes out of his way to like break these or flip these shonen cliches on their head, and he does it in a beautiful fashion, you know what I'm saying? Like one point that I always make in regard to like how different his approach to shonen storytelling is that like usually when you have a fight that's hyped up as much as Netero and Meruem, like in any other series, we know how the fight's gonna go. The two characters show up, they talk their shit, philosophy, arrogance, whatever it fucking is, and then here's my weakest attack, here's your weakest attack. Here's my next weakest attack, here's your next weakest attack. All the way going up until the final kaboosh of their special abilities, and then obviously the main character comes out on top. In Hunter x Hunter, it's like you have that interview with Zeno, like while the punitive force is first invading the meat plantation, and Zeno's like his strongest move, the 100 type, the Hyakushiki Cannon 100 type, Guanyin Budashava. And like he kind of like goes into that for a second, and then like that's where Netero starts with Meruem, because the logic and reason that runs the series tells him, why would I not just start with my strongest attack? You know what I mean? Like
just, right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like I need to take you out as quickly as possible. I don't care how long this fight's been hyped up. I don't care how long you want a fucking 50 fucking episode fight. Sorry, buddy. I'm trying to get this shit done right now, because this motherfucker's taking over the world tomorrow. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that's another thing there. And I mean, like Netero kind of like counts, as an overpowered character done right too. But,
all right, let me get in here. I haven't said
go
anything
ahead.
about
Sorry,
bro. Okay, first of all, this is the most convincing like villain. It like his gradual because the development is so gradual that him changing is the most convincing I've ever seen in a story, where it's like it makes so much sense, and it's pieced together perfectly to where you start right away where he just like lands, who was carrying him? Maybe Yuppie's carrying him, and he just lands into the fucking farm with like the family, and he just whacks that kid's head off. And then he's just smiles big as hell. He's like, I can do it because I'm the king. I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah,
and like
and
I got this power.
And like, make sure you don't evaporate the brain, because like that's where like he's like, I know that. You think I don't know that? I'll kill you right now. And she's like, all right, fine, do it. Smacks her in the face. He's like, I was trying to kill you with that. You're kind of strong. I was like, shit.
I'm impressed.
I'm very impressed. But it's just so like his like a lot of villains just like turn a new leaf way too quickly, like change their like whole perspective on things with like little to no catalyst. Like, okay, how about like Leovis is a good example, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like what the fuck, like why is this guy back and he's cool all of a sudden? No Zell makes no sense. Throw his ass in the dumpster. Like, makes no sense why he's cool now. But Meruem, it like. Just you saw all this growth. It was so gradual. It gave it to you at just the times that you needed it. And you're so like just taken in by his character that you're like, man. We were kind of even talking about the theme a little bit of how he is becoming more and more human. Like his humanity is showing more and more. Where you get to the fact at this point where the humans are the bad guys, and the ants are or at least him and Kemugi are, like it's like juxtapose the position all of a sudden, which it's not like One Piece where it's like the whole time, the pirates are good and the Marines are bad.
Right.
This is the ants were bad as fuck, and a very convincing, gradual, development makes me sympathize with this side.
Yes.
That and it very, very masterfully done. Like I'm all of a sudden like, oh my God, I don't know who I want to win this anymore. Like I don't know what the fuck's, and it's I don't know how it was done. So I mean Togashi's just
it just feels like that was the arc he started the series for. There's so much like time and care and attention put in it. Like you could tell that he was so excited to fucking give us that story.
Because Kite is like chapter 1.
Yeah, that's right.
And so like Kite being chapter 1 of the manga.
Anime onlys don't know that.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Might not know that, sorry.
Yeah, unless you've read like chapter 1 of the manga, but chapter 1
or watch the 99 version.
Hey,
that's true too.
Real quick, I want to address the chat. There's a couple chats that I want to address here. So Sherwin Brown, thanks for getting me into Jujutsu Kaisen. You're welcome, dude. That's one of our favorite things to do. That's
our favorite. It's our favorite shit week to week. One of them for sure.
Best thing in my opinion. Best thing coming out of Jump. Thanks for tuning in, man. Netero in his prime would have whooped Meruem's ass. I have words for that, but like, well, let me come back to that. Let me come back to that. Mark Weeks, bro, Meruem died from poisoning because war isn't supposed to be chivalrous and romantic. I love that.
Love it. Can I comment on that? Can I comment a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
So back to the nuke, back to the poison nuke, and I love this comment from Mark Weeks or whatever. Yeah. So the nuke. Now here is an aspect of overpowered characters, especially villains for me, that like really can highlight how they can be used to drive a story and make it like really, really powerful story. So here, the nuke, one, shows how badass Meruem is that he survives a nuke. But the nuke, since we already had the flashback of the Black Rose, what's it called? Black Rose?
Miniature Rose.
Or
Poor Man's Rose.
Poor Man's Rose, right. Yeah. So we already had that flashback. We already know that this nuke is banned globally by every single government.
Yeah, they're like, this is too tight. It's like mustard gas.
Right.
They banned mustard gas too.
Netero using it highlights that hunters are evil.
Yeah.
And there is on the Hunter soundtrack, the OST, there is a track called Hunters Are Evil.
Yeah, there is.
I just think that this phenomenal storytelling to show one, Netero, he is really invested in fighting. 1, 2, Netero is like kind of bought by like the Hunter Association sponsor.
Yeah.
3, does not give any fucks about morality. Like he's like, I don't care. Like he's like sitting there talking to Meruem and he's like, wow, this guy's making sense. I really got to kill this guy before he convinces me not to kill him.
Yeah.
And 4 uses a nuke that shows that hunters are kind of shady sometimes, which I love. It's just phenomenal storytelling.
A concept borrowed from or clearly inspired in Jujutsu Kaisen, which I love in that series.
100%.
Incredible
100%.
there too.
Definitely. And the thing about the Poor Man's Rose, the way that it just makes so much sense that that's the way that he was taken out to me. Like, I can't believe people really think that's an asshole, especially when you got fucking series that got fucking OP villains that are usually killed by like powers of friendship or some other weird godly fucking divine power out of nowhere. You know, like just weird asshole type shit.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem that way to me at all. This seems like
realistic.
The most realistic fucking biological war is
it's like you
very, very effective.
Survived the explosion. And you're like, holy shit, this motherfucker is different. Yuppie and fucking Poof come and make sense of the situation by regenerating him because we already know that he gains strength from consuming other people. So his regeneration made sense there. Yeah. But you're not surviving the poison. Like, what answer do you have for the poison? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can only regenerate so much from, like, you only have so much body to consume from Yuppie and Poof. I don't know how much that helps you, but like that poison is still there until you cure the poison. You don't have an answer for that. You know what I mean? So that was, I think that was amazing.
Well, and that's radiation poisoning.
Yeah. All types. Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, so then going deeper, set aside Meruem's strength. He's not just OP in strength. He's OP in strategy as well, highlighted by the Gungi arc. Who doesn't love the Gungi aspect of this arc? I want to play Gungi so much.
For making Gungi. Like,
Have you guys ever been that?
do we have enough information on Goon-gi to make that, to play that?
Somebody's
game?
tried.
There's like a fan rule set. Yeah.
There's a fan rule set. Yeah.
I want to play
Somebody's
that
definitely
shit.
tried. I would like to play
so
it too.
tight.
Yeah.
It's chess, but you get
Absolutely.
to set up your situation the way you want before the game starts. That's fucking brilliant, dude. Togashi, come back, please.
And Meruem is phenomenal at chess, Go, Shogi, and Gungi, and he's super OP at strategy, and he still can't beat Komugi. He's not number one. So it's like, it's so perfect storytelling where he's super OP, but he's not the best, not better than everyone, you know what I mean?
That's right.
And then, of course, that leads into, of course, Komugi, Meruem and Komugi, one of my favorite relationships of all storytelling.
Yes.
I cried so hard at his death scene. I mean, I cried, of course, dozens of times in One Piece, but I think I cried the hardest, like sobbing, crying when Meruem died. Like, it's very difficult for me to actually watch that scene because I just love Meruem
because it's
another.
Go ahead, Eagle.
I just want a quick question. What does it hit harder on, the anime or the manga? I felt like the manga
hits harder in the manga. Yeah,
the black panels with like where it fades, and it's like, man, I don't know, the black the manga really hits hard on that scene for me.
Right.
But that's all I had to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Eagle.
I was just gonna say another time where his analytical, like, deductive mind is really highlighted. Is, I mean, how long was the fight with Netero?
1 episode.
I mean, actual real time,
it was like minutes, right?
A minute, 2, something like that. In that time, he deduced every pattern of the Bodhisattva, whatever the Bodhisattva,
the Bodhisattva.
The Bodhisattva, yeah. Every fucking attack pattern and direction, he was deducing all that shit in that amount of time. Yeah,
going
at light speed.
Yeah, like, absolutely, right away,
faster than the speed of sound.
Real quick to address the chat because it's relevant to the topic.
Shout out Steven.
What's up, Steven? Hey,
Sama here too.
Ballistic Monkey, real quick. Dude made a card game and a board game in one series. Dude's a fucking genius. Sam's in here. Oh yeah, let's
Switchblade hand grenades.
What's up? Okay, so Sam from the Anime Summit podcast. Where'd she go?
Hell yeah.
Eagle sucks. Thank you so much for saying that. We need him we need him to hear that more often.
Arigato.
Hey, well, no, and she says, "JK, love you, bro. Happy belated birthday."
I wasn't gonna say that. You're very nice.
See, let's get the nice part. Let's get the nice part in there.
Thank you.
Yo, Sean, what's up, Sean? What's good?
Sean, let's go.
Yeah, we're in here.
What's
okay. I think there was one more. Mukade Makwa. Damn, I'm late as fuck, but I'm here. Don't fuck this up. Don't worry about it, bro. We got this.
Shout out, Zach. What's up?
Thanks for pulling up. Yeah. Dio OP done right.
I agree.
From
I agree.
M.A.N.G.A. Yeah.
Oh, that's not even Dio, is it? That is no.
Dio is.
I think so.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I'm not a JoJo guy.
Yeah, I'm a big JoJo boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dio. Ooh, just off the cuff. I mean, like, he's like being a vampire is fucking sick. And so, but also, like, I think a vampire is kind of one of those where it's like it's OP, but because like sunlight kills you, that I think all vampires are like kind of like done right to a degree because they're not like overpowered. Like sunlight always beats you, so that's really good.
There's a defined and very clear weakness to them.
Right. Yeah. And his ability, stopping time or whatever, he doesn't just like get that shit. He kind of accidentally stumbles upon his ability. I forget her name, like she's kind of like the Yubaba, like the old lady with the arrow or whatever, and she's like, "Yo, dude, like I think your power is fucking sick. You got to develop this." So he actually like spends a lot of time off screen, obviously, developing his ability to be able to stop time, not for 1/10 of a second, but 2/10 of a second, not 2/10 of a second, but 3/10 of a second, and then 1 second, then 2 seconds. So he actually like develops his ability over time. I think he's just a great character. He's fun. And like I love his voice actor too. Like I don't know, like I think he's a great
legendary voice actor. That's one thing I'll say.
And he shows up in multiple parts of JoJo, which is also very fun.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, that shit is incredible, man. Dio was goated.
Fuck yeah,
definitely.
Great pick there. Well, let's move into Saitama because Saitama definitely has to show up on this list, and I feel like a really good reason why Saitama is a good example of an overpowered character done correctly is because one, it's like kind of in like it's in satire, right? So like if you like, and that goes back to the story being self-aware of how strong its character is, and probably none more so than One Punch Man. You know what I mean? Like, one knew exactly where he was going. It's very clear and apparent that this is comedic levels of strong. You know what I mean? But at the same time, Saitama's still not overused, and one knew that he needed balance in his
That's
story.
very important.
Yeah, he knew that he needed balance in his story by making pretty much every other character around Saitama just as interesting,
Do
if
a lot
not
of
more.
shit.
Yeah, and
a lot of the time you just get panels of Saitama just walking around doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he always shows up when he needs to,
Ooh.
but he's not everywhere he needs to be all the time. And
The way the story's written, I mean, just the way that it's structured makes it work, right? Like, just the whole thing where, I mean, he's interesting. He's very interesting because he finds despair in his own strength. Like he has nobody to fight, right? Like, and even though he kind of does the rounds or whatever, shows up, I'm gonna help people out, but at the end of the day, he's still very conflicted inside. Like, I'm never gonna find anybody that I'm not just gonna one punch the fuck out of here. So that's a very compelling aspect to his character. And of course, like you said, he's the comic relief. It's a gag story. He's just like, sure, the story's named after him, but I mean, you can name it the Geno story or the Speed of Sound Sonic story.
There's so many incredible characters that get just like so much spotlight and so much screen time that you don't ever forget about Saitama. But like, you're glad that Saitama is not there so that we can get these characters, and that's probably I feel like Saitama might be the strongest example on the list of people that we brought to the conversation today, as far as overpowered characters done correctly, because it's like, you have and someone made a comment earlier. I really don't want to take time to scroll back up, but someone made it was Salamander Red. What's going on, bro? By the way, that's my guy. I've been seeing him on other streams and shit. We be talking and shit. That's
Shout out Salamander Red.
Salamander Red. Yeah, but he said, when Kiko said, "I've never seen a story where the weakest character turns into the strongest character," when we were talking about Escanor, he said, "Sung Jin-woo intensifies." from fucking Solo Leveling, right? So and Kiko hasn't seen that yet, and I don't know like how much webtoons people who follow us have seen, but that is another really good example of
we really got to surround Kiko one of these days and force him to
bro,
leveling shit, bro.
What's up?
We really got to surround this motherfucker, bro.
I watched Tower of God first couple of episodes. We did that.
You're gonna love that shit.
I'm gonna watch God of High School when it comes out. See, why read a webtoon if the mangas are or the anime?
Solo Leveling is not gonna get an anime right now. It's Tower of God.
You know the reason, so you can go past the anime.
Webtoon is just an anime that's still right. Like,
bro, that shit is cold blooded,
and more so inside of Solo Leveling than any other webtoon. Like the illustration and art in that shit should be in fucking museums, bro. Like, that shit should be taught in fucking class.
Yeah, I've seen
like,
the caps,
in
of course,
schools and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is one of the best comic book art. That's some of the best comic book art I've ever seen in anything.
You can't even capture the best moments in caps because they're like very long panels that you can't even capture properly in a screenshot.
They don't have
so
that limiter of like, it's not in a book, right? So like, they don't have that like page dimension barrier. You know what I'm saying? So they can make their scene or their page, you know what I'm saying, like almost as long as they want, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? There's some times where I'm scrolling down a page for like a minute when he's fighting the fucking B-class hunter, and it's like all the way down.
There's battle scenes where it's like a long ass panel with shit going down. It flows so seamlessly, and the art is like Noxie said, bro. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah,
bro.
dude, absolutely. But while we're talking about Sung Jin-woo, real quick, I just want to say I feel like he's an example of an overpowered character. At least, and I don't read the light novel, and the end of season 1 kind of gives me hope for the compelling nature and like stakes of the series moving forward. But like, I feel like Sung Jin-woo might borderline on as an example of an overpowered character that might be handled poorly because, and sorry Solo Leveling fans, but I'll explain myself here. Like seeing his journey from E-class to Jeju Island, great. But like for a little bit there, like it made me feel like the story was gonna be like like kind of like boring moving forward because of how OP he became. You know what I mean? And how OP he became. But now it's looking like it's about to start shaping up. But one reason why I still am confident in my statement that he might be an example of an overpowered character that's done poorly is because I feel like not many other characters in the series matter besides Seung Jin-woo. You know what I mean? And I understand that it's his story. I understand like what kind of story the author is trying to tell. I feel like I do. You know what I mean? And if it's all about Seung Jin-woo, it's all about Seung Jin-woo. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a One Punch Man kind of situation where there's a huge list of supporting characters that are incredible, even though they're not as strong as Saitama. You know what I mean? Like, we don't get a lot of, you know, like it's like Solo Leveling is basically One Punch Man without the comedy and without the incredible supporting cast. I've said that on my other channel before. You know what I mean? And there's nothing like the formula that it has. Even though I have complaints about it, still has me coming back week to week. So it's doing a lot of things right, regardless. There's something about that shit where I'm rushing before a lot of the manga I read to read that shit.
Solo Leveling is high on the list of priorities.
Super fucking good.
I will say this though, the one thing that gives me hope for the, you know, how interesting, like, because you know, I'm there with you on that. I'm like, man, this dude is like really fucking strong already. Like, who else matters? But like,
yeah.
The one thing that gives me hope is that we have not, you know, and I guess slight spoiler alert here.
Yeah, well, here's your.
We have not been introduced to anybody else who is a, you know.
Yeah. If you know, you know. yeah, but yeah, absolutely.
You know, nobody else has been like Seung Jin-woo yet, so I'm like, okay, so you know, maybe
there's room for that.
These dudes up here.
Yeah, there's room for that. Yeah, that's why the end of season 1 is giving me hope for the future of the series. But I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time.
So once we get introduced to them, it might be like
yeah.
But
I kind of want to move away from Seung Jin-woo.
I don't want to spoil
because I kind of want to move away from Seung Jin-woo just because we've been talking about him for a minute here. But
are we still on Saitama?
We are still on Saitama, but I want to address the chat here real quick.
Let's do it.
Sean
should
Strowman
address the trap too. Go ahead. You
did
first.
Y'all hear about Leorio's voice actor passing? Sad shit.
Rip.
Absolutely.
We did.
That really
rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man.
Leorio, Reno from Advent Children, right? Final Fantasy 7 Advent
I saw a picture of a lot of them.
He's also Ryokugyu from One Piece, Green Bull. He's had a lot of roles. He's had a lot of roles. He was incredible. Rip the guy.
I just beat Reno.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 7.
There you go.
First time.
Is that his voice actor in the game then?
No, probably not. I doubt it. Well, I don't know. Japanese voice actor? I don't know yet.
The speaking roles have been done for a while.
I mean, I threw mine on English because there's so much voice acting in that, and like
man? We're project.
You can't
That's
read
what
it.
I'm saying.
you guys don't understand. You got to play the game. You're running through the slums and people are talking.
I'm fucking with you,
I'm
bro.
gonna fucking mook. What are you doing?
No, you have to put on English. Trust me.
Yeah.
See in the chat, Shin from Kingdom. Hell,
I was gonna say
that's love Shin.
Oh yeah,
he is my boy. I love Kingdom. Everyone who's on Kingdom knows what's up. That shit is the fucking fire, man. Love it.
There's some good picks in Kingdom. I think a lot of them, especially if you want to delve into that like strategically OP thing, because a lot of the generals in there are, I'm sure. You know, I haven't personally read it, but
right.
Their next level of strategy and tactics.
Kaizoku asked me about like I don't do webtoons, and it's not that I don't do them. It's like I've tried. You know,
I've tried for years on years to get this man.
So like I read like 70 chapters of Soul Cartel.
Yeah, that was the one you did, and like now, and like once that finished, I was like mad because like it kind of got bad at the end. It was tight for a long time, but I really wish that you would have read 70 chapters of fucking like Tower of God or 70 chapters of God of High School.
I read like 25 chapters of God of High School. Like it's not that I haven't tried, just the fact that I just really appreciate black and white, and I just there's nothing against webtoons. There's a lot of whites. Oh yeah, I was reading Red Storm for a good minute too.
I was Breaker, black and white.
The Breaker, but that's a tried and true manhwa, right?
Yeah, the Breaker doesn't count.
Sure.
The Breaker's not a webtoon, but
for me, like there's enough manga in the world that like I'm still like trying to dive deeper and deeper into manga. Like I haven't felt the need personally to get into webtoons yet.
That's fine.
But I admit there's fire out there, and I'm sure once I get into there, I'm gonna be like, yes, give me more.
Well, it's definitely pretty. Like, I mean, you can see like Noxys and Eagle have sent me so many, screen caps or whatever they're reading. Eagle, has been reading fucking. Which one are you reading? Solo Leveling.
He's caught
up.
And then
I mean,
I'm caught up with Solo Leveling.
I know that. But when you I know, but when you were reading it, you were sending a lot of screen caps. The shit looked tight as fucking. Like, I mean, Knox has been scanning me fucking webtoon screen caps for like 7 years now. So like, it's not anything new. Like, I know it looks tight. It's just that it's kind of the same thing. It's like I only got so much. And, there's so much more to go for manga wise.
For sure.
But yeah, let's want to move to a new guy. Or what?
Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say about Saitama?
Yeah, I had a couple.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think something that was always cool for me about Saitama was like the emotional struggle he was having. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah, like how he always struggles with how strong he is now that he is that strong. He's like, that's what obviously had that realization. Like, I'm trying to be out here doing shit, protecting people. I want to be a hero.
Yeah,
right.
And then he did the workout routine, which is something I also kind of want to ask you guys a question about. But then now that he got so strong. He's like, because of that, man, this shit sucks, bro.
No, and that's where I agree.
I'm glad you said that because
it's not because of the workout routine. He doesn't even know why he's strong.
Yeah,
and I think is cool.
I think coincidentally, as he was training, some kind of extra normal, ability was bestowed upon him, or maybe his X gene activated. We don't know the origin of superpowers inside of One Punch Man, so like we could definitely get exposition of that later from One if he wants to. I was current in the webcomic, which is like kind of like beyond the manga obviously, and I don't remember us getting I still don't think in One's writing that we have an explanation of the origin of superpowers in One Punch Man still, from what I remember. But like still, you know what I mean? Like it's just we have so many we have one major verbal confirmation that like it's not the training regimen, and that's inside of Genos, right? Like Eagle was saying, like even Saitama doesn't fucking know the reason why he's so strong.
Well,
and Saitama is very confident that it's his workout routine, but I'm very confident that he was doing that training routine, lost all of his hair, and then coincidentally during that time something activated inside of him that gave him the godlike powers that he does. Because if 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, whatever that routine is, we have so many physically strong. Look at Darkshine. Look at fucking look at any other physical
prisoner.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you're telling me that they didn't have like something close to that routine going on in their life, or is it the number like specifically that matters of how many push-ups you do? Like I doubt it. You know what I mean? Like they had to have been doing their training regimen has to have been.
I say 100 sit-ups a day doesn't get you a 16-pack like fucking Darkshine right? Like you need a little more than that.
Yeah,
I'm really glad you said that because that's actually what I was going to ask you is if what you guys thought about that, and I agree with you, Noxie. I think that some activated in him or somebody like snuck this man with a needle and did some experiments on his ass while he was in a coma or some shit. There's no way 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 10K a day did that to you. Like there's
I don't know the name of the character. I forget the name of the character, but in the more current One Punch Man, there's like that homeless guy who like can manipulate
homeless emperor,
right? Like, and I feel like they're hinting. I feel like he's the first character that they're hinting that here's another guy who just was a guy and he randomly became strong. And so I'm wondering if there's going to be more than one like kind of Saitama type of character where he just became strong and then we'll later figure out like what's this common thread between all of them that made them all strong.
Well, and the homeless guy, like he met with like the god or whatever spirit or whatever. It was like some embodiment of like wind and sand that supposedly bestowed the powers upon him. So that could be a similar situation.
Saitama is going to have something similar with that.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. Mm-hmm. It's possible, very possible. But I just want to say shout out to Kyle in the chat. He brought up a pretty good pick here. My boy,
Mikey.
M.A.N.G.A, a.k.a. Mikey.
Yes, dude.
Mikey. Love him.
Yo, Tolman hours in his bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought my mic might have went out for a sec.
No, you're good.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Oh, I have the green indicator on Discord now. Shout out to that.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Stupid.
But yeah, Mikey, dude.
That's a great pick.
Mikey's a good pick. Let me think of reasons why here. Because there's no superpowers in this story. Obviously, they're above they're above. They're above. Like they're inside of the superhuman, like realm technically. But But they're not
Barely.
flying. They're not jumping.
Yeah.
Whole buildings in a single bound or whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're
Mikey
not doing,
just one shot kicks.
Mikey
Mikey
just
out of
fucking
here.
sends a nuclear ass
That-
roundhouse to your fucking temple, and you're done.
It's sumo, right? He said it was sumo.
And it's like
Sumo.
I thought did he say like his kicking techniques or that's sumo?
Did he say that? I remember
I
we
don't know.
recently got a flashback of his training, and it seemed more like Taekwondo.
Okay.
Than
I'm
either
not
way,
caught
he'll
up on, like,
flash speed
the
kick
40
your ass
back.
in the side.
Oh,
of
you're
the
like
head.
40 back. Okay, yeah. We recently,
Yeah, I'm like
we
110
recently-
or something.
Yeah, we recently got a flashback to Mikey, like in his.
Maybe just the
dojo.
one. I feel very strongly that he did say sumo at one time. So maybe it's just the one kind of kick he did at the time. It's the one where like you have one leg on the ground and the other, and you're like holding both legs, and and also kick like straight up. I think that's a sumo kick, but that's interesting.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Dude,
I didn't know sumo kicked.
But yeah.
I didn't know sumo kicked either. I thought it was just.
Well, sumo's
I don't think he
Honda
kicked in the fight.
kick, but they do have a good bit of leg flexibility.
Right,
'cause you
exactly.
see, like he said, they
The
put
Yeah, and if
sumo
you look at
stretch.
that, there's that dude from
Stretch.
Baki. There's that like legendary panel from Baki
Yo.
of the fucking sumo wrestler dude, and his leg is like straight up like Sanji.
straight
I was like, how'd
up.
your
and then
big
he
ass
slams
do
that
that?
bitch down. Hell yeah. Because they got flexibility like a motherfucker,
yeah,
man. They're
yeah.
crazy athletes, those sumo wrestlers.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
But
they
Are we?
for sure.
Yeah.
I think something that's really tight about Mikey is that like he's a character who, as strong as he is, realizes that he cannot do what he wants to do completely by himself. Like he needs
That's
other
right.
people, right?
Right.
Like he's acknowledged
Right.
that.
That's right.
I think that's a cool thing about
in
his
ways
character.
outside of power though, like he can still be the strongest.
exactly right.
Physically, and and that goes into like
It's like a Luffy
Takamichi
situation
too,
where
right?
he's like, I can't navigate shit.
Yeah.
I can't negotiate. I
Yeah.
can't do this. I can't do that. I can
can't
be
lie.
strong.
Yeah.
I can kick you in the head,
Yeah.
but
Right.
Yeah, if
need
I
my
could win
mans for
based
other
solely
stuff.
He's
on power,
under
I'd be
very
good.
intense psychological duress constantly. His past is
Yeah.
constantly like interfering with his decision making and his character, and that's why he has like his rocks in the form of Ken Ryuji aka Draken and Takamichi aka Takamitchell. You know what I'm saying? We have that. Shout out to
Mikey's
Kiko
past
for
is
that.
some
Shout out
shit,
to Kiko
bro.
for Takamitchell. That's his. But yeah, we got
Takamitchell from day one,
we got
yeah.
Takamitchell. You know what I'm saying? And for those of you that are interested, little shameless self plug here. Go to my fucking Twitter. In my pinned, I have a thread of all of my significant tweets. There's a character study that I did on Takamichi Hanagaki from Tokyo Revengers. If you want to peep that, I go really in depth on his role inside of the series in relation to Mikey as well. So you can definitely go ahead and peep that. But yes, Mikey is a great pick.
Yeah.
He deals with shit too, you know what I mean? Like he's not like perfect. He like deals with psychological damage,
Yes.
His
from
past
and
is
that
fucked
goes back
up.
to what I
His
was
brother
saying
got
about,
killed
like-
by his man.
Yeah, that goes
Yeah.
back to what I was saying about
That he rides
how,
for.
like
hit in the head with a wrench.
Yeah,
that he
like,
rides
a lot
for.
of a lot of what makes these overpowered characters done right, as the title suggests, is how much depth there is to their character outside of just how strong they are. If you just have a character that just walks in and evaporates anyone in front of them, and you don't ever get their backstory, you don't ever get any kind of like pathos, you don't ever get any kind of like character defining things, and I feel like you have to go into that more with an overpowered character than you do with a regular character or an underpowered character, whatever. I feel like you really need to do a lot more as an author to make that overpowered presence okay in your story without making it feel comedic, unless you're specifically writing a comedic story inside of One Punch Man for our example here. And we should, like, is there anything else you guys wanted to say about Saitama before we move forward?
No.
All right, because
no,
we're at the 1 hour
Before
mark
we move
here.
away from Toma, no.
Okay.
I did want to just say I want to address some in the chat. Apparently, Mikey's style is one touch KO. I don't know the move. Maybe.
One touch
One
KO,
touch
the,
KO?
movie, the game.
But also, I want to address what Sam said. Draken, best drip in Tolman in the game.
Oh, yeah,
That's
100%.
Hey,
100%. From his introduction,
y'all know how
bro.
to
Still trying to
Baldies do.
cosplay my man to the next
Y'all
time.
know how
I'm growing the hair out
Baldies do.
right now.
Y'all should know how Baldies do.
I'm
Oh,
gonna get the
stop it.
tattoo.
Yeah.
Calm down.
What? What?
I was
Baldies.
He
We
said,
run
you know
the
how
drip.
Baldies do. Baldies got the most drip. Relax.
We've been running the
Draken
drip.
got-
But hey, you want to know what?
Draken
You
got
want to know
flow.
what? You want to know what? I do have
Draken's
to give you props
bald, too.
because Kiko, your shoe game.
No, he shaves
your
his
shoe
head.
game is on point. So I got to give you that.
Oh, Mike's shoe game. Kiko shoe game on point.
Yeah, for sure.
You know where the name came from.
Yeah, Kiko. I don't think that's where it came from, but a lot of people think that. Yeah,
I know most people do.
Yeah, but
anyway, I mean, should we go to the real go? I think this is time.
Is it
this
time?
Is my favorite.
Because we're at the 1 hour mark. We got 2 picks, like personally left that like us as a team want to discuss.
I think the next one is my favorite one.
The next one. So wait, you know who's next? We're going into.
I hope so.
Satoru Gojo.
I was just gonna say.
Yes, bro.
My favorite. My favorite.
Yeah. Saw him right on time. Saw him right on time in the chat. Satoru Gojo.
Exactly.
Right
that's
hell yeah. Let me jump off.
Any character who forgoes eyesight.
Yeah.
To a certain point, like he's like, I don't even really need to see you to fuck you up.
Yeah.
He's got the blindfold on. He's like, I'm chilling.
Yep.
Can he see through the blindfold though?
With the 6 eyes, I'm sure he can. He's got like sensory.
Oh, sure, yeah. His ability
doesn't really matter.
He's got awareness in other ways.
It's just aesthetic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of like.
No, he still takes it off.
Yeah, he still takes it off.
I thought he was foregoing eyesight to a certain point. Like he's like, I don't really need to see you.
Isn't like he's foregoing eyesight, but like he still has other abilities that like make up for it.
Yeah, I kind of
ability to like 6 eyes. You know,
I like one way that helps me kind of like vision Gojo's like sight with the blindfold on. It's kind of like Daredevil, right? And I know that he's not using like echolocation, you know, or anything like or sonar or whatever it is. Like, I think sonar is the underwater one. Echolocation is the
air one. But bats do.
Yeah. So So like, but I know it's not that. But at the same time, it's like if you remember that really terrible fucking Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, you get that scene where you know you get that scene.
He
where
can like
visualize
his surroundings,
like the Matrix code, but like with people, you know, like shaped out and shit. Yeah, like that's just like what I personally use, you know, to like kind of like vision that. But
I think that's, if you've ever seen that movie, I think you always use that for like, you know, some kind of observation hockey or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Like that's how I see. But I think that the best thing about Gojo is that we kind of already touched on this, is not only does he know he's OP, everybody else knows he's OP, and M.A.N.G.A handles it properly, and he's only used to advance the story. Like that's how you use OP characters. Is like you put him in when it's going to advance the story. He can't be, you know, he's got to be sidelined for the most part. Yeah. And he has to have a counter. He has to be able to be sealed. He has to be something that takes him down a notch when we need him to be taken down a notch. We got that obviously. Yes, and all of those things make him, you know, just it's a believable OP character that you can have. Like, okay, we he's OP and we get why. Yeah. But at the same time, he's gonna be, you know, moved out of the main picture, so the rest of the, you know, characters can grow. I mean,
and as far as what I feel like makes Gojo a good pick here is that, like, as far as what we understand about Juryoku as an energy system and Jutsu Shiki and whatnot, and how reminiscent it is of Nen with all of the depth and levels that it has to it, we have a really good understanding of how power works in this series. One of the best examples, or one of the best understandings of how power works in a lot of series that we read. And Gojo still is like kind of like an outlier or anomaly, like there. Like we still don't have a lot of information about why he can do what he can do, especially in relation to our understanding of Juryoku. But M.A.N.G.A did such a good job of fleshing out this energy system that regardless of how OP he is and how different it is and how little we understand of it now, we know that it still makes sense to that system that's been established. So whenever we get that explanation fully, we're going to be able to reference back to the model that we have and go, oh, okay, this fits here. We just didn't know how, you know, but it's not unbelievable, even though a lot of the shit he does is fucking, you know, drastic and unbelievable. But we know that it fits inside of that model, which is very important. Very important. But
I think another great thing about his character is that even though he knows he's OP, I mean, there's so many like examples. Like, you know, he's talking to the Kyoto principal, and he's like, "Yeah, I was attacked by 2 high grade or special grade curses." And Kyoto principal's like, "That's unfortunate." And he's like, No, don't get it twisted. That shit was a cakewalk for me. but this shit shouldn't be happening. You know, just the way that he talks, like, don't know. Hey, I can handle all this shit. But the at the end of the day, even though he knows how OP he is, the dialogue he has with Geto about, or Brain Kun or whatever, that there are other shamans that have higher potential than me. There are going to be stronger shamans. Look at all these students behind me right now. Like, look at all the new age. Like they're coming up and they're going to surpass me, which doesn't make like it's hard to see, right? It's very, very hard to see anybody surpassing Gojo. But just the fact that he has that much confidence
and self-awareness
for his students and self-awareness. And that's the thing too, where he was like, hey, I could easily kill all the top brass, but nobody's going to follow anybody who kills the top brass. I need to be a teacher. I need to have a influential position. And I need to use my strength the correct way, because I could just kill everybody and make the shit by force. But that's really not going to solve the problem. It's just going to, perpetuate, this shitty system we already got. Like we really need to organize and do this the right way, and that's another great thing about his character. That's I love it.
Now, how about how his presence influences the enemy? Say the evil shamans and the evil curses or whatever. Like everyone, all the bad guys know Gojo's around. I can't do my thing. And so I think this helps a lot in terms of storytelling, like the storytelling mechanism of this, because say for example, going back to Dragon Ball, right? Everyone's chilling. Oh, okay, we beat Piccolo, great. Oh, randomly, a big strong guy from outer space comes and you got to get stronger now. It's random, just fucking get stronger, right? Like,
do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do. Gojo's presence has kind of suppressed all of the evil in the world.
He's a deterrent, and so like Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, he's a deterrent. So if Gojo is taken out of the picture, boom, all bad guys immediately level up, which actually is a good explanation for why later in the story, or now say, everyone's strong, all the bad guys are stronger, which is just like better writing than randomly a strong person appears. You know what I mean? Like it actually is written in because of Gojo's character.
Stakes and tension is easily moved around with that, right? Like once you take him out, exactly what you mean. But go ahead, Eagle, go ahead.
Yeah, go.
I was just going to say, it was also said that like, you might have touched on this, but that like even before he was born, there was like a rise in the strength of curses. Nobody really knew why. Then once he was born, people were like, "Oh shit, this is why curses have been getting so much stronger because this motherfucker
is here.
Goddamn!" And then he was coming tight from like 6 years old. We got that panel of when they were trying to assassinate him, and he said,
he said,
looked up at him to the top of the building.
Yes.
Yeah. Was that for those shamans, and was that for Toji too? Toji's like, that's the first time I ever had anybody notice my presence behind him. First and last time ever in my life somebody noticed my presence. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's right. Or no, he said that was the first and last time someone ever saw me and I couldn't see them.
Yeah, like they noticed my presence when I was trying to hide myself.
Yeah,
like,
and
use my Zetsu.
And now that and now that you say that, I want to shout out Mark Weeks here. If we're talking Gojo, we got to talk Toji too. Toji's a great example of an overpowered character done well. Man, I don't know if anybody wants to like go first while I'm thinking about my reasoning for it, but it's a good example and I just don't know how to say it yet. But
I mean, he's OP and he has no fucking Jiro Q.
The fact
he's all taijutsu. It's sick.
Pure drive and will, and just to become as strong as he was,
making the most out of your situation.
And he also took advantage of anything he could, like cursed objects and tools and shit. To get that strong to where you're taking out Gojo in a world that's like really heavily based on Juryoku and shit, and I mean, we have other examples of, obviously like Maki, Mei.
One point, but Keiko, before you go into your thought here, one point about the cursed tools, right? Look at Naruto, 10-10, character that only uses ninja tech, trash character, trash in terms of power level,
just the worst character in the show.
Sure. Hey, but like Naruto, I wouldn't say that necessarily, but like Naruto does no favors to taijutsu, no favors to ninja tech. Jujutsu Kaisen actually does highlight characters that are only taijutsu, only sorcerer tech or whatever you call it, curse tech, which is a great storytelling mechanism, and it really it gives you things to play with in terms of storytelling. It's not all just laser beams and summons or whatever.
The energy system, Yeah.
Well, and they all stay in their own lane, right? Like the with Toji, he obviously knows he has no Juryoku, and the cursed tools do. So he has to have that fucking Ouroboros type thing that swallows the fucking tools, and then he swallows that and has to regurgitate it and have the cursed tools come out because I mean that's his strength is that he doesn't have these taijutsu and that he doesn't have Juryoku, so you can't sense him through Juryoku's sensory abilities or whatever. But, 6 eyes might not be that. We don't really know that, but whatever. He knows that, hey, this is my strength and I'm going to take this, to the farthest level that I possibly can. And obviously I need these. I need a couple things to close the gap between me and somebody like Gojo or even Geto, even Geto, because obviously I feel like if Geto and fucking Toji stood in front of each other 1v1 and there was no fuckery going on, I feel like Geto might be able to win that fight anyway, just because he's a stronger with better Juryoku, better ability or inability to begin with. And let's not act like Geto and Gojo they don't have a high taijutsu level. Like they definitely can both throw hands, right? So maybe not on Toji's level. Maybe Gojo can at this point. We don't know. I mean, you get your arm ripped off and use to block another attack. I'm inclined to but yeah, that's the way that they stay in their lane. Like Gojo's just broken, so he gets to use everything, but. Mei knows, hey, I'm a physical brawler. I have a one-shot attack. I'm gonna use this, and then I'll have my one-shot attack come in, and that's just how Jujutsu Kaisen does characters. All of the characters are done right, and
yes, not Gojo, a bad character in the whole shit.
And Gojo is just an extension of that, even though he's a character that's in a different league from all the other characters, and when you have those in other stories. You really notice that. And even though you can tell that that's the case in Jujutsu Kaisen, you still know that there are ways to counter them. There are ways to I mean, I don't know about counter, but at least seal them, now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense that there are, just like the hunter scale, like a C-class hunter can beat an A-class hunter if the A-class hunter is not on his game and the C-class hunter is,
right.
or they counter each other, their abilities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's just that's the way to do characters in general, even if they're OP. Is if as long as they have a lane, they stay in it, they don't break from it, and it's not just like an all-encompassing. I can do everything the best, and nobody can stop anything I do. There has to be some kind of equalizer there, And even though Gojo doesn't really have one, he kind of does, right? It does now, at least.
Right.
Real quick, jumping into the chat. Schnooty's here. What's going on, Snooty? Let's see. May getting off-screened. Oh, okay. Never mind. Snooty's canceled. See you later.
Yeah. I mean, Snooty's been canceled.
Thanks for showing up,
How is it so late? Yeah, Snooty late as hell.
Yeah, Snooty's super late. Salamander Red, Maki Best
Girl.
Oh,
thank you very JD much. Legend, let's go.
JD Legend's here?
Hell yeah.
Where's it? I don't see it.
That's the new one.
From Dorohedoro.
Yes. Oh, what's up, JD? Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, also, I saw Marnie was in here a little bit earlier. Hi, Marnie.
I missed it.
She's here, I'm sure.
Missed it. Yeah, fuck yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, someone in the chat, I can't remember exactly who said it originally, but I've seen it a couple times in here. I want to say Makima from Chainsaw Man. Fuck yeah, incredible.
I know. I had her as a back pocket pick.
Done right. Makima definitely has to be brought up. I knew she would be, so I didn't specifically write her into the list of people to bring up. But her dynamic, I feel like inside of Chainsaw Man is so intense, and the mystery and ambiguity behind her character, I feel like is what makes her an overpowered character done right. She doesn't come in. She doesn't come in and give a crazy monologue about how she's the best. She doesn't do anything. You just see it. Fujimoto Tatsuki has a very show rather than tell approach to his storytelling, and Makima is a very clear example of how you can just have a character show up and do things inexplicable that you can't explain, and then she's gone again. And you're like, where'd she go? How'd she do that?
Right.
Can I please get more information on that? Maybe one day Fujimoto will never give you a hint as to when. You just have to wait and see. And I think that that's an incredible way to do an overpowered character. So very good. Very good. Snooty, no, you can't shower. I mean, I'm sure, it's been a while since you have, but go ahead. I applaud you. Yeah, thanks for the support, JD. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Kurosaki Chris, thank you. Snooty, you need to turn that down. Mei's not getting off screen. I promise you. If she does, then I'll make my Twitter profile.
I mean,
Snooty appreciation for 2 weeks.
I think she's losing. I just don't think it's off.
Yeah, never. But she's like M.A.N.G.A is not going to fucking do that. You need to relax. Let's see.
Who the heck is Switchblade's hand grenade?
That's Sam from the Anime Summit podcast. She's in our fucking Discord heavy.
Whoever says N sucks, I slap the shit out of him myself is you. Do you know Dora? Have you read the manga?
I don't know.
N is fucking dope. N is amazing.
Yeah, dude. Like, what's going on there?
Well, N is like in terms of the anime, like Dora anime just played in the winter season or whatever. Phenomenal story, y'all. If you have not seen it, you need to see it. And I would also recommend reading it. The plot is just straight fire, mysterious, great characters, great art, great story. Yeah. But like N, he's like a business tycoon. He's the strongest magic user. His magic. So Dora is like
he's the one with
magic,
like the gross face like around his like nose and like chin.
Yeah,
like,
that's his mask or whatever.
Skin.
Yeah,
that is a mask, isn't it? I'm
magic users.
I'm very early in Hidoro, but I do remember him. He's the one that originally gives the job to the first magic user that Kaiman and Nikaido fight when he like comes back from that fight that he barely escapes from. And then he goes to him and was like, "Yo, this happened to me." He was like, "Here, take this and go find Buddy." Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I remember.
So I won't do many spoilers because Dora is new to a lot of people. So I'm not going to spoil a ton. But like, that thing N is wearing is a mask. Magic users in Dora universe wear masks that increase their power.
Yeah.
And his magic is mushroom magic. So, which sounds dumb as hell, but basically like he turns things into mushrooms. But more in terms of like why he's the strongest, he just has like a lot of mana reserves or whatever, but that's not why he's cool or whatever. I don't want to spoil a ton, but let's just say his backstory is bananas, and that really leads into why he's like super OP. But like well written. Yeah. He's not just like going like he's not the strongest thing in the universe because there's also devils obviously, which are like kind of gods in this universe. Yeah. So it's just you got to read it. It's more of a mystery story anyway, so like I can't really talk about much without spoiling a ton.
For sure.
But N great pick.
Yeah, for sure. Going back into the chat, we have Kaizoku O Thorkel in Vinland anime.
That's good. I
mean, here's a great character because he is like campy in a sense, like he's campy like say Kenshiro or Goku, but he's not the main character. He's not like the driving force of the plot. He's just there for fun and great times.
Absolutely.
Eagle, tell us what you like about
get in your bag, man.
I love that, man. The fact that the only reason he's an antagonist, right, is because he wants to take the weaker side in the war. He's like, I'm not interested in fighting battles that I know I can win.
Yes.
Right? I'm just trying to fucking sit here. I don't care if I'm fighting my mans. I want a good fight.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
And he's just like, the fact that he's ravenous, bro. He's just like so battle hungry.
My favorite,
like the laugh that you did
that I've ever
is
seen.
From one of my favorite moments when he finds out that the main army left and that Canute is in command of the 500 men that are there or the 5,000 men that are there. He said, yeah. And he's like, it's on and popping.
Yeah, dude.
And then you get that fucking shit. He's just swinging a tree around. Fucking
bro, he had a fucking like ship mast the size of a fucking football field, swinging it around over his head like a fucking bow staff.
I mean, you know the character's gonna be OP when they're like eternally throwing a gang sign for the rest of their time. You know, like they're gonna be like this for the whole time. Bro.
Yeah, and you know they're gonna be OP when they have Uvogan's voice actor.
Yeah,
or
Blackbeard too. When he came up on Ashalad's group. When he found him in Wales.
When he threw that spear?
And he chucked that spear, bro, across the fucking valley.
Yeah,
he said, Miskita!
And it broke the sound barrier. Like, all right.
It plunged through like 4 dudes.
Yeah, he lined them up, 360
no scope. Came across, everybody's like, oh shit, dog, what the?
Yeah.
Yo, Torkel is, even just his presence shakes people to their core.
Yeah. If he were the main character on the good side, or the main bad guy. Terrible character.
Yeah.
But he's more of a character that just like
a guy who's there.
Yeah, and he helps the plot along, you know, like you were saying, like when an army's retreating and it's like, oh great, we won the battle. It's like, no, fuck this. I'm gonna abandon the fort. I'm gonna follow those guys. I'm gonna kill them because I like fighting that much or whatever. He just makes the plot interesting, and that's where I think it puts him over the edge of in terms of great character for our enjoyment, for the story to progress the plot. It's great. Love
Absolutely. Thank you. Incredible pick there, Kaizoku O. Okay, so we're at like the 1 hour and 23 minute mark. So I feel like we should move into the last one that we kind of like want to talk about tonight. I definitely want to address more chats, but I really want to keep this around an hour and a half.
Could we just kind of like lightning round real quick? Some of the things that I've seen a couple good.
Yeah. We don't have to go in depth. Go ahead. Yeah. Kiko, go ahead and fire off some things you've seen because I am looking.
M.A.N.G.A mentions All Might, of course, which is
All
great.
Might, that's great. Yep, absolutely.
You know, because he comes in injured, so he's already nerfed, but he is OP, so that's perfect. Who else did I see? I mean, Kenpachi from Snooty, of course. I mean, that's, you know, Snooty's that Bleach guy, so he can't not mention Kenpachi, which Kenpachi is OP, and I don't know if he's done right or not. That's kind of a hard choice, but still, I feel like we should mention him because he's definitely OP. Whether he's done right or he's done wrong, I don't know. But I mean, Toriko, also JD Legend mentions Toriko, so
Toriko, amazing pick.
Anybody who chops the bottle,
bro. Okay, look, Toriko has my favorite. I know I was talking about Escanor a little bit earlier as one of my favorite introductions for a character inside of like shonen manga, but the number one for real and for true, my number one personal favorite character introduction in all of shonen manga is fucking Toriko. Komatsu pulling up. Hey, are you he's like, hold on 1 second, kid. Sitting on a fucking cliff with a fucking street light with a fucking like rope wrapped around it and a giant like chimera grasshopper the size of a fucking Buick on the end of it for bait, fishing. He's like, hold on 1 second, kid, I got a bite. The fucking giant like crab monster comes and eats the fucking, you know, grasshopper, and he's like, ooh, this is pretty big. This will last me till lunch, or whatever he fucking says, and it's like 7 times his size. He fucking pulls it up over his head, then a giant griffin comes and tries to seal it, and grabs it, and he's like, oh, no. Slams them both onto the ground, and was like, all right, cool, I'm about to eat good tonight. And then Komatsu's like, hi, and he's like, hold on 1 second, kid. Walks over to a fucking branch, and snaps it off from the cigar tree, snaps it off, fucking lights the fucking cigar tree with his finger friction, inhales it, takes a fucking puff off the fucking stogie, then grabs a bottle of fucking Maker's Mark, slices the bottom of the bottle open with his bare hands, drinks the entire bottle in one gulp, and then exhales the fucking cigar tree, and was like, all right, what were you saying? And Komatsu's like, oh, and like faints. That's the best. That is the best. The best.
Slices it and just
fuck yeah. S Death, Chaos Knights, S Death.
Yeah, S Death is a good,
very good pick there.
We got Julius, Aizen, you know.
Yeah, Julius Novachrono.
Is Aizen a good example?
I don't think so, but
I don't really I feel like when we revisit this topic, kind of like how we did like I kind of want to think about it. Like, he could be a good example, he could be a bad example. Obviously, it's subjective.
Complete hypnosis is really broken. Like, I feel like where you can just like change all 5 senses and make people do whatever you want. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's a little, especially like for a sword anime where like we should be fighting this out. You know, like I don't know. Like, Aizen always seemed weird to me.
We could bring. Aizen is one that I like kind of like want to think about for a little bit, so like we can come back to Aizen.
Me too.
Yeah. Let's see. And we addressed Julius from Kyle Studer. We addressed All Might from M.A.N.G.A. We got S Death from Chaos.
Katakuri is a great character. I wouldn't say he's OP obviously in the story, but he's done right. I mean, he's perfectly, he fits exactly.
Can a character be OP if we don't have any examples of his? Oh well, no, because. We know. They said in the
he had never lost.
that he had never lost before Luffy. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, and his future sight, his like epic future sight is like pretty OP.
Yeah.
It was an overpowered ability.
For sure.
He was OP for his placement on the scale of things, but like and the time he was placed in the story, but like in the grand scheme of things, he's not like one of the OP characters.
Yeah, so One Piece Whitebeard, I think, is an incredibly well-written OP character where like he's the strongest man, but he's really old. He dies. His motivations obviously are like he just wants a family. Just like pretty much there's like tons of One Piece characters that are super OP and super well written, and of course every character is well written with Oda. So like
his fault is his caring about his kid. Like Squardo's the first one to stab, he stabs him right away, and he's already that's really good. Obviously that's going to be the fault that he's going to have, and then he hugs Squardo like this wasn't your fault, my son, that kind of shit. Like that's wild.
Fast. All right, let's
real quick, I want to say shout out to Salamander Red in the chat, Benny Maru from Fire Force, the GOAT.
Okay.
I'm not really gonna go into it, but good shit for shouting him out.
JD
that's
Legend,
an OP character. I think is pretty
JD Legend.
Good,
yes,
pretty
we had a very extensive Meruem segment.
Watch the recording. I love Meruem, and we did Meruem very good.
Yeah, but let's.
We talked about Sinbad too, Schnooty.
Yeah, we talked about Sinbad already. But okay, so like let's. Okay, so we're at an hour and 30 minutes. So let's lightly touch on Chunwoo Han, aka Goo Moon-ryong from the Breaker, and then wrap this up. Breaker fans out there, we got a spotlight for your boy. Okay, I don't know if Drip Yuji's here, Antonio Davis. I don't know if he's here, but is that weird that I said your name? Sorry.
But his name on YouTube.
He's in our comment section. I don't know, but yeah, Drip Yuji, we got you. Chunwoo Han, Goo Moon-ryong. Kiko, do you want to start that real quick?
I love me some Goo Moon-ryong, right? Yeah, just so like it depends like what portion of Goo Moon-ryong you want to talk about. Like the original Breaker version where he's like, he's kind of almost Saitama-esque where he's like the comic relief. He's gonna hit a shoryuken, he's gonna holler at some teachers, this and that. Not like take his anything he's doing super serious. But then when it comes down to strong metal hand time, Buddy has to activate and stomp the shit out of somebody's arm clean off. But like the fact that the way that Breaker works, where like it's fantastical like martial arts, but they're not so broken that they can't get shot, right? Like if you jump out the cut and you shoot Goo Moon-ryong, he's dead, right? I mean, unless he hits a foot technique on that ass, But
a little chue, little hue, or whatever the fucking like Korean. Still working on the Korean words, but the foot techniques are definitely what'll get him out of that situation. I feel like you can't even shoot Goo Moon-ryong, honestly, with the foot technique.
You probably can't.
Like his awareness is so great. And obviously, like he's like, it's kind of like a similar situation to like Satoru Gojo, right? Like he's in a teaching position. He's forced into one rather, but he's still like a teacher. You know what I'm saying, for all of season 1 basically. And he doesn't really activate until the very end for dramatic reasons that we don't need to go into. But that was beautifully done. And then inside of season 2, inside of New Waves, like he's not really there. But
his mind's not there.
Because of the presence that, because
Sorry.
of the presence that like that they established in season 1, when he's like half comedic relief, half teacher, and then all badass at the very end. It's like that's a great moderation to like keep an obviously overpowered character in. Like you keep him in a boundary where he's not just the I win game whenever someone needs to be taken down. You get a lot of development inside of Siwoo Yi. You get a lot of fleshing out of the supporting cast, while Goo Moon-ryong remains in the background, and everyone is very scared whenever he shows up, and very respectful of when he shows up. When M.A.N.G.A, the fish face, like biker jacket, like gimp dude, you know what I'm saying? Like when the first example you get of just how strong this character is when M.A.N.G.A is chasing Siwoo and their driver, I can't remember the name of, when they're trying to find that little girl, Lady Sosul, there we go. Lady Sosul, fuck yeah, I'm cold, bro. But yeah, so like when M.A.N.G.A's chasing after them and Goo Moon-ryong shows up, M.A.N.G.A's like, oh my god, what have I been doing this whole time? I'm so sorry, sir. Slink, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, oh, okay, so like you're so scared of this person that you feel like without words, you should probably just offer a limb to apologize. You know what I mean? Like that was really fucking cool.
Swinging them kukri blade, couldn't even hit Goo Moon-ryong, you know, with the kukri. That's man, I love me a kukri blade. You give me a kukri blade in any story, and I'm down, bro.
And the way he uses it is
shout
so
outs to
cool.
Helmeppo.
Yeah, absolutely. But fucking,
I was happy when he came back.
And just the fact that like Goo Moon, and I think another thing that establishes Goo Moon-ryong as OP, you know, in the breaker without him like actively doing like very OP things often, is the fact that he's whooping everybody's ass with his leg and arm in a fucking cast the whole fucking season. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a great like caveat. That's a great way to limit them while still showing their power. And then you go into new waves and it's more centered around Elder Quan and Shi Woon Yi and fucking Jinny and whatnot. And then, you know, you get like all of this information from all of these other supporting cast members while Goo Moon-ryong is still in the background, regardless of what his dramatic situation is with his character and his amnesia or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you still know that he's there and he's the Gojo. So like everything is relative to this man. So whenever someone shows up, no matter how strong they are, you know that Goo Moon-ryong could come in and wash them, and you know that Shi Woon Yi is like the prodigious, you know, like predecessor of that. So like that gives, you know, that makes it make sense for Shi Woon's eventual overcoming of that character, even though Jeongeuk Jin does an incredible job writing the realism of Shi Woon Yi's advancement, while you know that he's just going to win because he's Goo Moon-ryong's disciple. He comes very close to losing. I think he even does lose a couple times, which is always a good thing to do, because a lot of
Chun beat that ass.
Yeah, he did, and a lot of writers don't know how to do that. You know what I mean? Like when you're going from week to week and you're putting so much like time and effort into writing your story, people want to see your main character win. So it's very easy for you to make them win in every single situation, because week to week is the most frequent rate that you can get this story, and people don't want to feel like they went through a whole arc or a whole fight and then didn't get the result that they wanted. So it's very pressuring, I would assume, on an author's end to write a character lose, you know, when you have so much of the fan base that just wants a Getsuga Tensho, you know, or a father-son Kamehameha wave ending to an arc or a villain. You know what I'm saying? So you know, you have a precedent that you want to like stay true to inside of this genre. But like at the same time, it's like you want to write a compelling story. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how much editorial has to play a part in like decision making like that. But I just like applaud Jeongeuk Jin and by extension Kamaru. Can't forget about the artist either. But it's like they do an incredible job telling this story. And Goo Moon-ryong is an incredible example of an overpowered character done right, in my opinion. So
another thing that I don't think you touched on that I need to, I've already said it earlier, is that the thing that makes OP characters work for me is if there is some kind of counter or some kind of weakness to them. And Chun Woo-han's weakness, I mean, one of them at least. I mean, the amnesia thing is one thing that needs to kind of be expounded upon. Hopefully we get a fucking season 3 one day. But his emotional attachments to Yi-Shi-woon and Shiho are you know, exploited at the end of the first season. And that's really humanizing, right? Like you really get to feel that he's not just, you know, I can win any altercation that I'll ever be in. I know that people that I care about can be taken hostage. You know, Yi-Shi-woon's grabbed by the back of the neck by the fucking like current martial arts leader. I forgot his name at the time.
In season
like,
1?
The Meruem leader. Yeah,
the one with the goatee and like the fucking,
one with the
like
goatee,
he looks like George Clooney almost.
And he's got
Sean Connery.
Yi-Shi-woon.
More like
Sean Connery. That's it. Sean Connery. And he's got him by like the back of the neck, and he's just I'll crack his neck in half type shit. You know, and like that's you always gotta have some, you know, just some way to equalize these OP characters and bring them down to a level of the other characters in the show or series or whatever, at least for some period of time. Obviously, it's not going to be forever. You know, it's going to be for the small window where they're going to be able to, you know,
them in moderation. The moderation is so important. The pacing in which you use these characters that you know are overpowered, that everyone knows is overpowered, that the world knows is overpowered inside of the story you're telling. You have to be really careful with, you know, like how much you use that character. Otherwise it's going to turn into a situation where, okay, we know Chun Woo-han's going to show up and evaporate the enemy. You know what I mean? And they don't do that. And it's incredible when an author is that self-aware, you know, of themselves, because it's probably very easy to get excited and use your favorite character all the time. You know what I mean? But like inside of Suzuki Nakaba, inside of One, inside of Jeongeuk Jin, inside of all of the fucking picks that we brought here, they've all brought like something to the table that dampens that overpowered nature while still making it blatantly apparent how overpowered they are. And that's got to be such a hard thing to do as an author. And I have so much respect for all of these mangaka in their way to do these characters. And this was an incredible idea for a topic tonight.
Yeah, a couple of quick shout outs here. We did get Blue here almost last minute.
Blue's here?
Yeah, hell yeah, she is. And then
Blue?
hey Blue.
Morgan.
Yeah. Yeah. Good Mormon to you.
Good Mormon.
Snooty mentioned. Hey, yeah. Come on, man. We didn't need all.
Sorry. He's not even watching anyway. Fuck that guy.
I know that
sucks, dude.
But anyway, so Snooty mentions Mephisto from Soul Cartel.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. That's why I got.
Snooty?
I know. Yeah, and Gabimaru. He mentioned Gabimaru too.
Fuck yeah, Snooty.
Gabimaru, I won't say he's OP, but I say he's perfectly. He has the perfect amount of power for right where he is. Exactly where he needs to be. Yeah. But and then JD Legend says he's about to reread the Breaker. Please do this, sir.
Fuck yeah, let's go. Breaker Gang rise.
Yes. So yeah, and we got a few dabs in the chat. I feel like we got a dab.
Dab emotes. I just seen that.
Simon and Panzu. Simon and Panzu want us all to dab. I feel like they want us all to dab. You got it.
I like the eloquent slow dab.
Hell no, you got to do that shit hard and vigorously.
Aggressive dabs. I like the sloped hands dab. Okay.
I mean, I feel like that's when you put your pinky up on your T.
I'm always doing
why are you trying to flex?
You gotta hit it like that meme that Justin be posting in the chat with the kid where he's like,
I hate that gif. I never want to see it again. Okay.
My favorite GIF though is that one that I be posting every once in a while where it's the come at me, bro. I know which one. I know you know which one I'm talking about. The one where he takes from Peaky Blinders where he takes with the baby. Off. With the baby face, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
You laugh emoted every time I post it.
Okay. Well, let's wrap this up. We're at an hour and 40 minutes. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been an incredible discussion.
We love you.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us. Please like the episode. Smash the subscribe button if you're new here and you enjoy the content. Hit the notification bell so we can chirp you when the new episode is live. I think we're going to do a tie-in episode, another one tomorrow. If not, you could probably, jumps on break, so like Monday or Tuesday at the latest.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
we'll
saying?
Get one in.
Fuck with us on Twitter. You can visit the link tree down below, and that's going to give you like all of our links. So like you can see our official Twitter at Project Manga OFC, Oscar Foxtrot Charlie. You can see all of our individual Twitters. You can see all of our other online communities, Facebook, what have you. Discord, definitely join that. Giveaway coming up soon. You have to be in the Discord for that though. I'm not going to like branch out to all of our social media accounts for that because that's just a lot of work. Fuck with the Discord. It's cool anyway. Also, you're going to see us on Apple, Spotify, what have you, inside of that link tree as well. Also, ways to donate to the podcast if you feel so generous. And yeah, that was amazing. And yeah, Patreon coming soon. Please hit us up whatever way you want to because we want to base like the extra content on you guys. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to just sit here and go, we have a really good idea, let's just give it to them and see how they like it. Like tell us what you want us to do, because we do want to give you more content. One thing I know for sure we're going to do is an extension of Jump coverage. So we want to do an extension of Jump coverage inside of patrons, exclusive content. So we want to cover all of the other stories in Jump that we don't cover on the main show. So definitely give us ideas for that.
Kuraku.
Jigo Kuraku. Things that are coming out of Plus and Square, you know what I'm saying, that aren't specifically Weekly Shonen Jump dedicated. We want to talk about more things. Everyone's asking us, how can we support you? Can you please cover this? Can you please cover that? It's we want to definitely have it be a real tried and true quid pro quo kind of situation. So definitely give us feedback and we will provide that for you. You scratch our back, we'll scratch your back kind of situation. But that's going to do it for this episode of Tangential Tie-Ins. Thank you for joining us for our 500 sub appreciation live stream. This was really fun, and let us know if you want to do more live streams in the future. We love interacting with you guys on these episodes. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I'm Noxy.
Ice to do is Kiko. I love you.
Iguru in this bitch.
Nickums, thank you all.
We'll catch you guys next time, dude.